This is Colin. I'm here today with Robby for Communitas. The whole Digits Club team decided to join as well. We'll do a little bit of a live AMA to get familiar with the Communitas platform, what it's all about, how it works. Robby, thank you so much for being here today, explaining or answering all the questions that we might have, right?
Yeah, so thank you, Colin, for having me.
Of course. The main thing when I look at your platform, which I thought was interesting, that's why obviously we got together, was the tier system, right? So I definitely want to talk about how that works. But could you give us maybe like a little 2-minute summary on what the platform was all about and what people can expect, basically?
Yeah. So the basic idea of Communitas is created when initially when we want to jump into a launchpad, a well-known market leader launchpad like BSC Pad, DAO Maker, CDFI. We did not have any capital to stake their token, especially to get into their private round, because it will be very expensive for us to participate. So we also have been into a situation where we want to participate in a CoinList launchpad. I believe you guys have heard about CoinList.
Yeah.
But it was Mina. I still remember it was Mina token. There were 400,000 participants, but only approximately 40,000 get to purchase the token. So you can imagine 10% only get to purchase the token, and we were like queuing for 4 hours, and it was for nothing.
A lot of people were disappointed at the end of the day.
yeah. So we came out with this idea to make a tierless system, pretty much like Binance Launchpad. In Binance Launchpad, you can just commit any number of BNB, and you will still get a portion, even though it's very little portion of the token, of the newly launched token in Binance Launchpad. So we have this idea to create this tierless system where people can just buy our COM token and stake any number of COM token, and they will still get allocation for this newly launched token or for the sale. So we have this public sale and private sale. For the public sale, any number can participate, but for the private sale, only for those who hold and stake more than 500,000 worth of COM token. So if you guys go to our website, www.communitas.net, if you don't mind me sharing, can I share my screen?
Sure. Let me enable that for you. Yep, there you go. Go ahead.
Let me share my screen, and I will walk through you guys. Wait a minute. Yeah, so I believe you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, can see it now.
So yeah, if you go to our homepage, then you can calculate. We have this calculator done. You can calculate how many COM token you wish to purchase. Let me check. Maybe.
Oh yeah. I just seen that the other day. It's crazy because that is actually one of the main questions people ask about a launchpad. It's basically, if I have this amount of tokens, how much allocation might I receive, right? And I thought this was quite funny that the calculator shows you that what kind of allocation you would be eligible for, right?
Yeah. Apparently, my internet is not that stable, so I believe that you guys can easily go to our website and you can.
Well, I actually have it right here. I think I can show it because it's actually quite cool.
Yeah. How much COM token you wish to purchase, and how will you be eligible for the private sale, and will you be eligible for?
You guys see my secrets, what I already tried to enter earlier today. Because it will start it will start at 500K, but I would just put in 2 million. But basically 500K tokens on the current price gives you it's about 2,400. But look at this is where you basically find the indication, right? It's just an indication. So it will say,
it's just an indication.
Yeah, for the private, then assuming the races, right? And then the relative amounts, and then also the staking. Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, but you have to understand one thing, that let's say you have 500,000 com token, and see here it is stated that you will be eligible to purchase approximately only $83 in public ground sale. But this is not the case, because this $83 is only for the round one, the booster one we call. Okay, so we have 3 rounds: booster 1, booster 2, and first come first serve round. Right. This allocation here is only for booster 1. Okay, if there are unsold token in booster 1, then it will be again be allocated to booster 2, and you will still get some allocation in this booster 2.
Okay, what is the difference between booster 1 and booster 2? Because I do understand, of course, the first come first serve, but normally we would have a guaranteed allocation round and then the first come first serve. What's the difference between the boosters?
Okay, booster 1 and booster 2 is guarantee allocation. Let's say in the booster 1 you are eligible to purchase $100. Okay.
Yeah.
And if each booster will last for 4 hours. If until that 4 hours come, if let's say there are still 40% unsold token, it means that, let's say, the total target raise is 100K. So there will be 40K unsold tokens. So this 40K unsold token will be allocated to booster 2. In booster 2, you will still get a guarantee allocation.
But then the allocation would basically be higher, the guaranteed allocation for that individual that joined booster 1 can now also join booster 2, but then higher.
No, it's obviously it's lower, because let's say in the booster 1, if you can purchase $100, okay, in the booster 2 maybe you can purchase another $40, because there are 40% of unsold tokens.
But then you basically go booster 1 plus booster 2. That's what I meant. 140 total, which is then higher, right? Better for the individual. So if you're not fast, you need to be within the first 4 hours. If you're not within the first 4 hours, then all the other ones have more benefit before the first come first serve.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And then if there's still unsold token from the booster 2, then it will be allocated to first come first serve round. In this first come first serve round, it is, there will be a minimum purchase and maximum purchase, and everybody will, like, basically it's like a guess war. So this is what we call first come first serve.
Right. Ark is asking, are there fixed allocations per round? So basically the first one is guaranteed. The second booster is leftover guaranteed.
Yes.
Right. And then the third one is the first come first serve.
First come first serve.
Is the booster system applicable for both the private and the public sales?
Yes, it is.
Okay, in both the steps. All right, fair enough. Very interesting. How does it work with, like, because the tokens that are obviously staked, right? You can get allocation from, I think, $1 of Communitas tokens, right? How does it work with, like, the super small allocations? Because from my understanding, that's why Communitas is great for big as well as small investors, right? Because usually the small investors don't have any opportunity recently, right? Is that a specific goal, or what would you say, what are the pros and cons of this system?
We created the system because we also want to give the opportunity to those, I can say, small cap investor to try out and participate in any IPO, because in Indonesia, especially, like a number of $2,000 to $5,000 is quite a big amount of money here, and I believe it is the same with some Southeast.
I think it's everywhere in the world a lot of money. $2,000 is a good amount of money.
Yeah, that's why we want to give the opportunity for everyone to participate in any pre-sale, to understand what is the the chance of a lifetime to get to buy the token before this token get listed somewhere else. So the way we calculate in the public sale is easy. I mean, like we will, let's say you have 1 million COM token, 1 million COM token, okay? And before the last staking date, we will take at a given time. So at that last staking date, we will take how many COM token total stake in our staking platform. If let's say there are 100 million COM token stake, it means that you are eligible for 1% because you have 1 million divided by 100 million. So you get to buy 1% of the total allocation.
Right. Okay, so it's basically extremely fair, right? Like a fair distribution.
Yeah.
What people have to consider, however, is that it's working both ways. So the small investors get a small allocation, but at least something better than nothing, right?
Yep.
The smaller cap, and the big guys can still get their big allocation if they want to. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. And also, we have seen a problem with some tier system launchpad. Let's say in a launchpad where you have, okay, let's say the first tier is $1,000. The second tier is $2,000. The third tier is $3,000 to make it easy. If you, I believe that you will not have $1,100 worth of their token. You might only want to have $1,000. You will not purchase more token. Or if you want to purchase, you will get to the next level. But in Communitas, a lot of people say that after they get profit from their IDO, then they are trying to stake more COM token because all of their COM token will be taken into consideration and will be calculated.
Because of the whole weighted average thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. Interesting. I just look from a business perspective, but that's perhaps why you're on Polygon, to make it easy and efficient as possible. But for the launchpad in general, it might not be that much worries. Oh, that's a good question. Basically, one of the reasons, so I've been, of course, reviewing a lot of launchpads on my YouTube channel. One of the fundamental interesting things, which I think is interesting for everybody to know, is the burn, right? So could you explain us a little bit why the burn is happening, how it's happening, and what the idea behind the whole burning of the token is and how it works?
Okay, so we are a bootstrap project. It means that initially we don't have any backers, VCs, or nothing. We raised approximately 200,000 US dollar by conducting small IEO. Like IEO on small exchanges, those exchanges that you have never heard before, I believe. So with that amount of money, so and initially we are not an expert in the tokenomics, so we just create something, like we don't have any advisor or someone who can give us advice on the tokenomics side. And our initial total supply was 40 billion. And we are kept on thinking the way how to lower down the supply, because there were only 1 billion 1 billion token which is in circulation. So first of all, we came out with the idea of social engagement burning. We believe that this is the only burning mechanism that in the whole crypto space has. It means that the social engagement burning means, for our holders, every time they interact with our social media, like Twitter, they hit the like button, they hit the retweet button, and all of this stuff. Every month, we will be looking at the Twitter analytics, the Telegram analytics, and we will burn some amount of COM token based on the impression, based on the mention, based on the like, and we have that report on our Medium every month, early of the month.
All right, and is that the original idea, or is that now what's being burned?
Yeah,
implemented.
It's already been implemented, and we have already burned 5 times. And because we want to, how to say, reward our new, our holders. So out of that 40 billion, we have come out with the agreement that there will be only 2 billion COM token in maximum supply. It means that if currently there are 1.2 billion in circulation, it means that it has been 60% in circulation. There's only 40% left. Yeah. So if you go and check our Polygon scan, you still can see that we have the supply of 33 billion something. But those 33 billion something is locked within a smart contract in a third party called DXLock. So every month we will unlock those tokens and we will send them directly to the burn address. And we have that report every month in our Medium.
Okay. Okay, so now I understand. Just to summarize, right? Because I've read the Medium post before. It was quite a while ago when you published it, I think a month ago. But basically, how it goes is when you started, you had no funding, right? That's where it began. So no advisory on the tokenomics. Just like when we launched our own first project, I would think right now that I want the smart contract for our NFTs different, but you can't change it anymore, right? Once it's set, it's basically set. So then now you have too big of a supply, but the tokens are locked, and every month tokens are being unlocked, right, through the vesting, and those are automatically burned. That is the idea. Yeah. So it would still take some time. Every month the total maximum supply goes down, and therefore hypothetically, when we look at supply and demand ratio, the supply would go down and therefore push the demand up because the circulating supply would go up, right? Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. What is basically, apart from this, obviously, well, let's call it the manipulation of the price, right? Because that's what actually is happening. What's the ultimate benefit for Communitas by doing this?
Yeah, I mean, because we are here for our community, and a lot of people and users from our community request for that burning to happen. So after we discussed with the whole team, then we decided to to do this burning and to satisfy our holders, you know. And from 40 billion to 2 billion, it's approximately 95% of the burn. But yes, like you said, it will not happen in one night because those tokens is still locked in the DX lock smart contract, and everybody can see it. We have shared the link to the lock in our Gitbook and docs.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good thing, because if you would burn it in one day, you get a huge price influx, right? And if you slowly burn it over time, it's like a lot more natural, a lot more linear. You'll still see that upward trend in a bullish market, but hopefully that would extend. That's clear for me. If there's any questions, guys, on this, please feel free to put it in the chat box and I'll pick it up. The interesting question in regards to the proposition of Communitas to basically Launchpad audiences, right? Because you mentioned that the low barrier of entry is basically the #1 thing, right? What in regards to tier 1 Launchpad? So if we're going to look at the other side of the spectrum where there's more money. So you were talking about $2,000, $5,000 allocations or investments, maybe in tokens or in allocations, something like this. I don't think any Launchpads gives $5,000 allocation, but let's say in contribution to the token of the Launchpad. What would you say Communitas offers to then the bigger players?
Yeah, so we are still trying to get into that. I believe that even though we are still new, but we are how to say, yeah, coping up with those tier 1 exchanges, tier 1 Launchpad. So our biggest challenge is that we have to bring a good project, you know, like tier 1 project. That's why we are keep on having partnership every day. We have a team of 5 people also who is looking for connection with tier 1 PCs, you know, like tier 1 Launchpad as well, so that we can bring those good projects to our audience. And if you mention about those people with, I mean, like big cap investors, so I believe that by going to Communitas, you know, they like you know, let's say I compare Communitas with CDFI. In CDFI, I believe if you have approximately if I'm not mistaken, 70,000 worth of their token, 70,000 worth of the token, then you can only purchase like $2,000 worth of their allocation. But in
Right.
Communitas, if you would like to purchase $2,000 worth of any project, then I believe $10,000 will be sufficient enough for you to participate.
Right. So basically then the affordability
Yes.
because of the lower token price relative to the raise. Because one of my favorite projects that launched on your launchpad was FN,
Okay.
right? And I believe when I did some research, you are an advisor for that.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
also an advisor for Evan project.
All right, that's impressive. That was just like a little funny side note because I know when I introduced FN to the Digits Club, everybody was
Okay.
like super pumped about that company specifically, right? And the game that they're building. So that's quite funny. When you look at these style games, you know, there's like other interesting projects that have launched on your pad so far. Let's take an angle into the bearishness, right? Because right now, for the last 3 months, that has been developing. What do you think the influence of the bearish market is on launchpads, and how many will be able to go through with their business if this, let's say, continues for another 6 months?
You mean from the point of view of a project?
From the point of view of a launchpad, because I basically noticed that less projects want to launch, less money is being raised because investors are fearful, right?
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
the bearish trend. And you basically see that, let's say the market moved down 12% and all the launchpad token values move down 30%, right? Because there's no projects. If the projects do launch, the returns are not that good. What would you say is something, do you worry about this? Do you not worry about this?
Yeah. We also worry about this. So our strategy, first of all, is because if you go to CoinMarketCap and you check our price, then our price is not that hard, you know, like not affected too much. It's because in our staking platform, it is a lock staking. You know, you can choose only 3 types of staking, which is 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. Okay, you will obviously get a fixed amount of APY starting from 18% until 36%. Okay, it's fixed APY. But if you choose to do a premature withdrawal, unlock before the time, so there will be a 20% of penalty,
All
and those
right.
penalty, yeah, and this 20% will be directly sent to the burn address automatically. So if let's say you stake 1 million com token for 90 days, and then at the 70 days, you decided that you want to take that 1 million. First of all, you will not get any rewards because you are only taking it 70 days, not 90 days. The next one is you will get penalty. You will only get 800,000 out of 1 million. The
Right.
rest, 200,000, will be sent directly to the burn address. Yeah.
That's yeah, harsh on the staking, but good on the stability of the price at least.
Yes. Yes.
So that is definitely an interesting setup for Communitas. When we would speak in more general terms around the bearishness in the market, right? Because I assume, do you still get the same amount of projects coming to your launchpad inquiring about launching, or is it now less?
Actually, we have got more projects inquiring to launch on our platform. But yeah, we are in this case more selective, and yeah, we also worry. To be honest, we also worry about the target raise because of the current market condition. You know, people like very less number of participants. But then
Right.
we have one strategy, which is to connect with as many KOL as possible. You know, like we connect with several KOLs, and if they promote our project, we will give them allocation in return for their
Right.
promotion
Yeah.
without the need to stake our token.
Yeah, give them some additional benefits in order for a free promo, basically. Well, it's not free, it's like, but like a gifting situation. Yeah, I get it. When you say we have more harsh terms to select project, you're more selective. What kind of things would you say are now more important to look at when you have like a more bearish market?
Okay, obviously it's about the team experience, especially in the blockchain project, and also about who are their backers. Yeah.
Ah, all right.
Yeah,
And is
the
that both the
backer,
same for private and public, or are there some
yes,
differences there?
it is both the same for private and public. We also normally will ask them about the first liquidity that they are going to put in the decentralized exchange. You know, so
Why
if
would
let's
you ask
say,
that?
yeah, if let's say their initial market cap is 700,000, okay, and they say they only want to put 300,000 liquidity, then we all know that there will not be enough liquidity by the time of this token when it gets traded in the decentralized exchange. So we are more selective in this way.
Right, that makes sense. So basically, their commitment, then the VCs that back them. So overall success of the project. What would you say regarding, you said initial market cap or the raise? Let's go back to the raise. What is in the current market conditions a raise amount which you think is too high for like a general project, like a normal project?
In our platform or for their total raise?
That's a good question. Maybe both.
Okay, so yeah, for us, we are currently taking only like 100,000 of allocation in Communitas, but in general, for a project with like tier 2 thesis baking, I can say that they can target for 1 to 2 million for the total target raise.
Still decent. So that would automatically mean that likely it is so that Communitas is not always the sole launchpad. Usually there are more launchpads involved.
Yes, more launchpad and
Yeah,
more pieces.
more of a spread. Why wouldn't you raise more than 100K? Is it because you can't fill the cap or is it just a risk thing?
Yeah, first of all, we feel that it is not our time yet because we know in every sales, like for 100,000 allocation, then there are approximately 800 to 1,000 participants. What we are trying to solve now is to get more people to know about Communitas, so that when we have more participants per project, then we will gradually and slowly raising the cap level, the raise.
Right, makes sense. So yeah, relative to the amount of users, you increase the raise as well if there's more demand.
Yeah.
Right. So Arc just put a message. Would you consider raising the cap if the community grows? Well, that is the answer. If the community grows, the caps would be raised.
Go. Yeah.
Nathan asks about the Sapper voting event. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means, Robby?
Yeah. We have actually one team member who is organizing all events. We call him an event organizer. So basically, he's taking care of all events in Communitas. For Zapper, we have, we want to get into the Zapper. So Zapper will ask us to do the voting. So we create this event and we give a free airdrop for those who participate in the voting. But
And
I
I
believe
assume
that
Sapper is a project that
yeah.
you want to host on Communitas. Is that right?
No. Zapper is not a project. It's like, I can say it's like a block folio. It's like a wallet. We just want to see our logo there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't keep too busy with airdrops and everything related to that, so I wouldn't know, but it's good to learn something new, definitely. Yeah. In regards to perhaps other criteria of a good project, right? So you mentioned the backers are extremely important. That makes sense. The raise, liquidity. So liquidity is a good one because we don't hear that too often, that there's actually being looked at the percentage of liquidity offered. What would you say are other? You mentioned team experience on the blockchain. What are other things, maybe minor things that you're like, well, it's not maybe super important, but we do not want to skip that on our checklist?
Social media engagement, and also normally we will be looking at their Telegram group. We want to see how their team engage with the community.
That's interesting. All right, let's hook in on the social media side of things, because what I see is that there's a lot of fake engagement, right? Twitter, bots, Discord. So one of the things that we hear a lot from Digits Club is that we have no bots, right? All the engagement we have is organic. They're real people. They come on the calls. They're not afraid to show their face, right? Get things going, the transparency. But I see a lot of Twitter projects, for example, when I review on this YouTube channel, research reports, that they have 50,000 followers and they get like 5 likes or 1 retweet per post. Why do you think, when it's so obvious, companies would still inflate their numbers like that?
Yeah. I mean, I believe that this is a normal practice in crypto space. A lot of projects do like airdrops to blow the number of their followers, followers in Twitter and Telegram. But normally we will go into the Telegram group, okay, and we will understand we will check whether they have at least one announcement every day. Do they keep their community posted about their development,
Oh, right.
and if whether their community engage in that post itself, and whether the admins of that Telegram group reply to the question or just don't care about it. These are some criteria when we look into the social engagement.
Fair enough. Let's say that, because then obviously it's like a pros and cons list, right? Some things they do well, some things they don't do well. What would you say is like a real deal breaker, where even if the tokenomics are good, the vesting is good, the race is good, what is something that you definitely cannot accept?
Can you come again?
So let's say you have a whole list of all things you like about the project.
Okay.
Right? What would be something that you definitely cannot accept in terms of a project? Maybe like, I don't know, adult games or anything like this. I don't know.
I can say we don't have any such criteria, so we can accept just any project to do the launch in our platform, as long as it has a good potential and a good future,
Fair enough. Who just from my general knowledge, who is in charge of making those decisions? Is it just you, or do you run the opinion of the entire team, or just the management team? How does that work?
Okay, we have our internal research team, consists of 3 people, that they will be doing some kind of assessment from the criteria that we mentioned, from social media, their team, their backers. We will also be checking to their Twitter, because sometimes the project just say that, yeah, we are backed by this VC or that VC, but then when we check on their social media, they don't have this tweet about it. So yeah, it's also important. Yeah, so we have a team of 3 people who will be constantly doing some due diligence.
Do you feel like there's a lot of like fake announcements that way, that projects say like, oh, we're backed by these guys, but it's not really actually the case? That you have to do the due diligence, otherwise you might be exposed to additional risk? Or is it more like a double confirmation kind of thing?
It's just a double confirmation kind of thing.
Yeah, because the crypto, of course, is not always as transparent, but the projects in general are trustworthy that approach you.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's good. That's at least good. As long as it's just to double confirm that everything is how they say it is.
We need to do that. Good. Yeah, we need to do double confirm.
Well, that's maybe a good topic as well, because we sometimes see that. Because Mild Smokes did post a question. I don't think it's super relevant here, but I do want to take that question and turn it a little bit. Sometimes we see risk exposure of launchpads. So there's 5 launchpads involved, and one launchpad released the tokens early, right? Does
Okay.
Communitas have any like insurance fund or anything like this, or how would that work? Do you guys refund the tokens? Is there anything like this? Have you experienced it before?
Yes, we experienced it before. From the previous project named Okratech, okay, ORT. So once one launchpad released the token more than it should release. Okay, I don't want to name the launchpad, but
Sure.
we
Is it
had this
more in terms of time of more tokens?
more token.
Okay.
Okay, and to mitigate this risk, we only send the fundraise to the project uh, 24 hours after the listing. So within these 24 hours, if some bad things happen, we can decide it whether to do the partial refund or fully refund the project.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's
Yeah, we
always
only
some security there, because I know for
yeah
some launchpads they don't have any contingency plan. They just yeah, you're protecting the investors. I think is important. You gain a lot of trust, so I really think it's a good thing.
yeah.
Perfect. All right. Question from Herman, your friend, Robbie. He's here as well. What
Okay.
was a project in the past that you really wanted to launch but did not get? That's also interesting.
mm, I can say, well, I couldn't recall because there are just too many projects. You know, like every day there are 5 to 7 meetings in our team, meet with new projects, and yeah, I believe there were several projects that we denied or rejected, but it got into a bigger launchpad. But yeah, I can say that we should not uh, how to say, we should not regret that, because
Right.
yeah, it's yeah
Can't win everything. Yeah,
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 we
that
can
makes
win
sense.
everything.
That makes sense. Somebody's asking something about the team. So I'll just pull up the screen share again and go to your team section. Um, let me see, where's the team? Because the team is somewhere
Yeah,
here.
down below. So yeah, basically, it's loading.
Yeah,
So you can see only several names there, but to be honest, we are a team of almost 60 people, 60, and 70% of us are from Indonesia. But not
right.
of us, yeah. But we didn't put all the names here. You know, just we just don't want to make our website looks too crowded.
Yeah, maybe diluted. Yeah, if like,
Yeah,
I mean, if there's not, I don't want to call them not important, right? But the people that look for the team look for the main players,
yeah.
right? Where did you get connected with these advisors? Because you got 4 advisors, 1 tech, 1 security, and then 2 general advisors. Where did these come from?
It's all from the crypto space, from connection to connection. Just like how we get into connected with Digits Club. You know,
Right, right.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. This
fair
is the
enough.
beauty of crypto.
And
Yeah, we every
how do these guys support you? Is there still, because obviously you mentioned the tokenomics before, right? Is there still a need to consult with them? Does that happen often, or is it more like a long-term kind of thing on the major milestones?
yes, we yeah, with some of advisor we are still connected, and if we have some problems in the technical part, we will consult them. You know, as well as the business part, we will talk to them, and yeah, we have like 1 to 2 meetings every month. Yeah, just that's it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Keep the feedback loop open.
Yeah.
Uh, Ark has another question. Ark has been having a lot of good questions today. When the launchpad categories evolve, right? Obviously, competition would evolve. People get more interest for everything. How do you feel like the next 5 years would develop? You have platforms like Copper Launch, for example, coming in with like the, what's it called, balancer type launches, those type of things. Is that something you guys are looking at, like the Dutch auction fair launch, like the different models? What does the
Okay.
future look like?
Okay. So actually, we have this vision. I can share with you before I share with our community. So
Okay,
we are,
good.
yeah, we are thinking like, actually there are still some risks regarding this launchpad thing. The biggest risk is we need to, we feel that there are several projects who is after raising funds, they just like abandoning the project, you know.
Yeah.
So we are thinking of making some kind of a smart contract platform so that the fund release will be based on their roadmap. But we are still figuring out how to come up with that because no one in this launchpad space is doing that.
Yeah, because basically you would keep them responsible for their progress. So
Yes.
they pay the vesting for the investment of the money, but the money is also vested back to them and not like transferred to them. So it's
Yeah,
like
and
vested both ways.
fasted both way, and it will be fasted based on their roadmap. So maybe they can, like, make some numbers first. Let's say if they achieve this small milestone, then we will release 20% of the fund. If they achieve that milestone, and we will release the rest 30% of the fund, and everything will be in smart contracting. So all of the investor can track and see the progress of the project itself.
That would be awesome. I think,
But this is a long-term vision.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We
To
are
make
still
that deal,
thinking.
to convince the project not to take
Yes,
all the
yes,
money up front, that's a difficult one. But I think when the market develops, like room will be created for this, right? Because more demand, more overall supply. The launch pads now you see, like for example, the copper launch thing, but there's a lot of other platforms that go more into the decentralized.
yeah,
And of course, there's so many projects launching. I still believe that 90% of the projects in 5 years from now, maybe even 2 years from now, they're gone,
I
right?
agree. I agree.
And we already seen major projects from basically quarter 3 last year that are still around today, minus 60% IDO price and a very highly promised roadmap, which has come to nothing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think we all know which project we're talking about. We're not going to name the project, but the chickens are not so cute as we thought they were, right? Overall,
Okay, okay.
right?
Got it.
And I mean, like that happens, right? And I
Yeah,
think
that happens.
the most mature investors are used to this risk, right? We basically leverage the idea of having 8 good projects and 2 shitty projects. And I think for any
Yeah,
launchpad, that would also be considered fine. What you don't want to have is obviously 8 shit launches and then 2 good launches, because then the balance gets well, out of balance at the end of the day,
yeah. I
right?
agree.
Right, perfect. I don't think we have any more questions for now. Oh, final question from Ark, most likely. Do you place more value on the price of COM, the token, or relative ROI of the projects launched? It's an interesting question.
Yeah, I believe that for us in Communitas, we put the value of our holders more than the project. Just you can see just like our decision to burn 95% of the token. I can say it's to reward our holders now.
Yeah, it makes sense, because I think just from my business perspective, those things are interlinked, right? If the projects do well first, then more people are going to buy the COM token to participate, and the value goes up anyway. But
Yep.
if you put the focus here and not on the ROI of the projects, then, well, we have seen many of the meme style launch pads that focus on more their token than the projects, and then it doesn't work, right? Because the value first. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
great. And the burning, that's why the burning makes so much sense in multiple levels. Obviously, if everything goes well, everybody wins with that burn, right?
Yeah.
You win,
Yeah.
the audience wins, everything goes well. But then from that point of view, again, you come back to the launches have to be good, because that is the business model.
Yep.
But I think that's not a problem for you guys. Robby, I think those were all the questions for today. Thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
I guess Nothing. Thank you for having me today. And if you guys have any question, I will be more than happy to answer. I mean, even if it's not here, you can just join our Telegram group and yeah, just ping me.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Robby. I'll be in touch. If people enjoy stuff like this, we'll do a little bit of feedback and perhaps we'll see you again in the future. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for being here.
Have a nice
Have a good
day.
one. Bye-bye.